Boy, the voices got elevated there at the end. A lot of talking, a lot of fellowship. That's awesome. Well, good afternoon. I'm Stephen Hammers, president of this wonderful Rotary Club. And I'm going to be really sad come June. I promise you that. I am, because I've loved it. I loved serving you all. We've got a wonderful time. We're going to hear the invocation by Hunter McCarty. We're going to hear the pledge and four-way test by Kip Dotson. And before I do that, we actually got a thank you letter from the Girls Club for a small donation for Jane Andrews' funeral rather than flowers. So that was very, very nice of them. So, and hope you all continue to pray for the family. Hunter?
Heavenly Father, we come before you with grateful hearts for the opportunity to gather in fellowship and service. Thank you for the blessings of friendship, purpose, and the chance to make a difference in our communities and beyond. Bless this food before us, the hands that prepared it, and may it nourish our bodies as we strive to nourish the lives of others. Guide our discussions today that they may be filled with wisdom, kindness, and a spirit of service above self. May we be ever mindful of those in need and seek ways to uplift and support them. Keep us united in our mission to bring hope, peace, and positive change to the world. In your name we pray. Amen.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance.
Father, stands one nation under God, liberty, justice for all.
And now for the things we think, say, and do. Number 1.
Truth,
Number 2.
fair to all concerned,
Number 3.
but could better friendships,
Number 4.
beneficial to all concerned. Certainly hope so. Our wonderful club secretary, Jennifer Wayne, is going to introduce the guests and visiting Rotarians.
Welcome, everyone. Happy Friday. For those of us with kids and grandkids in school, happy spring break. We do have a couple guests today. Where is Bob? Cersei. There you are.
My guest is Roy Lofton. We worked together many years at Southwestern, where he was over sales for Canada and the Western U.S., and now he's been in healthcare for a couple of years. Glad Roy could come and might be interested.
Thank you.
All right. We also have Catherine Stark here again today. She will be going through orientation in the next couple of weeks.
Thank you, Catherine Stark with Vanderbilt Health. Happy to be here again. Thank you, guys.
And we are so glad to see Buddy and Harold. Where are you guys? Buddy, welcome. So glad to see you guys. Harold, good to see you back. Okay.
Awesome.
Did I miss anybody? You'll get introduced later. Anybody else? Okay.
Awesome. Appreciate it, Jennifer. Time for Happy Bucks. Steve, I've asked you 5 times. You going to do Happy Bucks today?
Hello, can you hear me?
All right.
Okay, here we go. Happy times, happy times. Hey, I guess I want to start it out by saying I'm going to drop $10. Not that I'm a big spender, but just had our 10th grandchild about several weeks ago.
Wow.
So yeah, good stuff. I would have done this earlier. Unfortunately, he was premature, had some complications. Actually, it was kind of touch and go for a while. So, but he's doing great. He's almost doubled his weight since then. His actual due date's tomorrow. His actual original one. He was more than 31 weeks. Anyway, so there you go. That's my happy bucks. I'm more joyful than happy, frankly. So there you go. Who's next? Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. I'll hit you up on PayPal. I spoke with the Brentwood speech and debate team last week, and they are sending 7 people to our annual Rotary four-way test speech. I was having trouble getting those words in the right order. So that's Friday, March 21st. Please come. Should be fun as always. Second of all, I understand Michael Kaplan won his cornhole game, which means he and I are set up to compete against each other in 6 weeks or so. And I just want you to say, Michael, I will spend every waking moment and most of my sleeping ones practicing to destroy you in that match. Just want you to know that. Should think about that. Think about that.
He's shaking. He's shaking pretty bad. So, yes, sir. There you go.
Was at physical therapy this morning, and they were gracious enough to take a big stack of Pancake Day tickets at the Bellevue location, as well as a flyer they're going to put in their window. And the head therapist there encouraged me to announce to the club that there are a lot of result PT locations in Brentwood, and so if you know of one, take a stack of tickets and take a flyer because they're very interested in supporting us.
Awesome.
You? Yes, sir. Wow.
Bucks in there. Of course, you all remember Jordan. She had her baby Saturday. You have her number. You might give her a call and just wish her well.
Oh, wow. Great.
Thank you. Next, Lennis. You got your.
I'm grateful because we've gotten more than a dozen applications to give away $10,000 from the BRCCF. And so for all of you that have submitted applications, I'd like to thank you for that. If you have a candidate and haven't yet submitted your application, the deadline is the end of the meeting. So there we go.
Okay. Yes, sir. Bobby.
Okay. For those of you that were paying attention, Rotary is they created one of these vanity plates called Promoting Peace, and I had a little trouble online, so I kept pushing the button, and I ended up with 3 of them. So I gave one to my son, and I have one more for anybody that wants it. They're free. They're kind of cool looking. I've got a picture of them if you want. I'm happy about it.
Happy times. Happy times. Yeah. Here we go. Oop, coming to you.
I was super happy because Bob Thompson gave me a $2 bill to say that we love to get new members engaged doing the prayer, pledge test, and Happy Bucks. So if you haven't done it, would you sign up over here? We'd love to get you engaged. And, the point of it is to actually get new members, involved and integrated into our traditions. And so please sign up.
Thank you. Who knows who is on the $2 bill? Who's the president? Anybody know? Can't look. Jefferson.
Wow.
Yes, sir. Anyone else? Sir. Here we go.
Alan. So, my son got his heart broken when he was in high school. He got fixated on this girl, and she was just no good for him. He goes to college. I said, hey, you need to go out with lots of girls, And he was like, I don't know. He met this girl 4 days on campus. Anyway, 6 years later, he's engaged to be married.
Wow.
So
He's off the payroll by that chance. Okay. Anyone else? Happy times. Happy Bucks. No one? No. So I get to keep this money, correct? Am I just? No.
You might want to bring it up here. I know you got a grandbaby to pay for.
Yes, I do.
Hey, a couple of announcements. Don't forget, if you bring a guest, to check them in at the front desk. Very, very important. Make sure they get all the information. That would be highly appreciated. Also, in case you haven't noticed up here, the Owls Hill Nature Center has been moved. It was scheduled during spring break and has been moved to April 5th. So still the same online sign up. Banks will be sending an email out this weekend or sometime real soon to try to get everybody to sign up. So we just didn't have a lot of people sign up, I guess, due to spring break. So it's going to be April 5th. Make sure everybody knows that. And don't forget Pancake Day. Julie is going to make a pancake announcement.
Afternoon. So our big day is coming up. It's April 12th, which is that Saturday set up as the 11th. If you haven't already signed up, please go to our website. There's a link that you click that you can pick which shift that you are going to work. Everyone is asked to work one mandatory shift and then work as many as you want after that. We are partnering with Blood Assurance this year for the first time. The sign up for that is also on our website. There's a link to sign up for that as well. And then we are partnered with Cars for Kids for the second year in a row. So very excited about that. If you guys have any questions or need anything, you can always call or email myself or Sarah Johnson. And if you need to sign up with a sheet, you can see me over there. I've got extra sheets if you need to do that instead of going online. Thank you.
Drew Rogers asked me to make an announcement for parking for Pancake Day, but I said no. So just want to remind everybody to park in the back of the high school. Yes. It'd be the north side. North side. Drew, north side. The parking lot in the back. You can get through it by Granny White Park. You can go through it that way. Yeah. I don't think I want to put a map up this year, but just park in the back of the high school, not on where Murray, is that Murray Lane? Yeah, not there, in the back. Okay. All right. Bert is going to introduce our guest for today.
All right, everybody. Today, our speaker is John Freytag. He is the National Director of Hospitality Analytics. Jan became the director when CoStar Group purchased the company he was with. In his role, Mr. Freytag comments on trends that shape the U.S. hotel industry. He is sought-after public speaker and is frequently quoted in the Wall Street Journal, New York Times, and Associated Press. He holds a bachelor's degree with distinction from the School of Hotel Administration from Cornell University, and he received his executive MBA from Vanderbilt. Would you welcome Jan Freytag?
Thank you, Bert. Thank you, Drew. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Hello. Is this on? Are you here? We're going to talk about hotel data. It's going to be exciting. Maybe, hopefully. I know you're here for the chicken. That was good chicken. Thank you. So my name is Jan. Thanks for having me. I have about 20 minutes to talk about. I work for a company called CoStar that you probably don't know unless you're in real estate. Who here watched the Super Bowl? You saw the ad for Homes.com. We own them. Apparently, we have enough money to hire Morgan Freeman, so that was pretty cool. We also own Apartments.com and Land.com, and I think 30 other companies. I was with an acquisition from a company called STR. I'll tell you about it in a second. We are a publicly traded $36 billion market cap, huge entity. We do commercial real estate data, and we sell that to anybody who owns or lends in commercial real estate. So Blackstone, Greystone, BlackRock, Rayrock, your bank, my bank, anybody else who makes money in commercial real estate buys data from CoStar. I was for 20 years with a company called STR, the smallest big company you've never heard of, out of Hendersonville, Tennessee. I know people don't like monopolies, except if you work for one. We were a global monopoly. I can't say that on the record, so don't quote me. Every Wednesday morning, every hotel you've ever stayed in, and all the other hotels you never ever want to stay in, every Hilton, every Hyatt, every Jinjiang in China, every Kempinski in Germany gets a report from Hendersonville, Tennessee that says, here's how you did, you hotel, and here's how the market did. It's called benchmarking. STR was the only entity that did that. And we were purchased by CoStar right before the pandemic. And Randy Smith, who started it at his kitchen table in Hendersonville, Tennessee, himself made $500 million because it is such a powerful idea. And now people buy land when they have money. He bought a peninsula up in Hendersonville, and I saw his brand new house, which is spectacular. And I was just went on the back porch, and I said, "Oh wow, is that all yours?" It's like, "Yep, 180 degrees, all mine." So he's doing all right. What he allowed me to do over the last 20 years is to talk about hotel data. And while you think that is boring, I love it. I have the best job in the world. I fly around the country and sometimes the world and talk about the state of the industry, either the global luxury hotel industry or the US hotel industry. And today I talk about Nashville because we're based here. I live in 12 South and our office is just down on 11th Avenue. So when we talk about hotels, because it's economy, Econ 101, basically, we always have to talk about supply and demand. How many hotels are there and are they being filled? And how many hotels are being built and is demand going up or down? So what I'm showing you here is the problem with Nashville today is that room supply is up 1.8%, but room demand compared to the same time last year is down. So 24 over 23, room demand actually declined. And we're using this number called occupancy, which in commercial real estate, you always talk about vacancies, right? And office vacancy is like 5 or 6%. The vacancy in hotels is depressing, right? It's 40%. So we talk about the occupancy. How many rooms are filled? It's a much better number. So it's 66%. We have 2 out of 3 rooms are filled every night on average. And how much are you paying for that? $177 or so, which is down a little bit because the occupancy is down. Of course, you're saying, I haven't seen a room in Nashville for $177 since 2000. That is correct. But keep in mind that that is the market. That's Franklin and Hendersonville, all the way up to the Kentucky border and all the way out 40. We talk about often downtown, right? That's what people want to talk about, what's going on in downtown Nashville. And there's a technical definition. The easiest way to think about it is you go to Tootsie's, you go to the 3rd floor, you get a beer, and you look around in a 1 mile radius. That's what I'm talking about when I talk about downtown. So the Nashville market is interesting in that our weekends are super strong for a city that is rare. Right? In a resort destination, you always see that, right? Not a lot of business on Wednesdays, a lot of business on Friday, Saturday. Nashville is interesting in that we're not technically a resort, I would think, but our room rates on Saturday are so strong. Why is that? Because we have this really strong leisure push from drive-to customers, leisure customers, but also because we have such good access through Southwest, right? We're a Southwest hub, and our weekends start on Thursday, right? When the bachelorettes come tumbling out the Southwest gates, and all headed downtown. And because they're all here at the same time, our occupancy goes up. And when the occupancy goes up, that means you have pricing power. So room rates go up. So you can see that on average, I talked about the average last year was $177. That, of course, is different Sunday when nobody wants to travel or Saturday when everybody wants to travel. So the market has a $190 rate or so. Downtown, right, Tootsie's, beer in hand, look around 1 mile radius, is $300. And then you're like, yeah, but my mother-in-law doesn't want to stay there. She wants to stay in the nice hotels. So that means you're paying $400. So luxury hotels, the Four Seasons, the One Hotel, the Joseph, all these very, very high-end boutique hotels have a lot of pricing power because the American consumer is bifurcated. There is a lot of money on the upper end. And the lower end is arguably struggling a little bit, right? And the upper income consumers, they don't need to buy another car or a watch or a bag. They want to buy an experience. And where do you get an experience in the South that's safe and has a good vibe? Nashville, Tennessee. And so people come here and they're very much willing to spend a lot of money on hotel rooms, which is why a lot of developers are coming here to build high-end hotels. And that we're just at the beginning of the high-end hotel boom. There are many, many more coming. The question that I get then is, yeah, so what about Airbnb? Fair disclosure is I have no idea. We don't track that data, but there is a third party called Inside Airbnb, and they publish this. This is free. You can check this out, insideairbnb.com. Looks like a measles outbreak a little bit. What I'm highlighting here is a little bit hard to see, but on the lower right-hand side, I highlighted the average cost of a freestanding unit, like an apartment or a house. On average is $140. And you're like, oh, wow, that's actually cheaper than a hotel. So is this competitive with hotels? And the answer is, of course, as always, it depends, right? If I'm traveling on business on a Tuesday night, I land at whatever, 10:30, and I'm presenting the next morning at 8, and then I'm out of there. I don't want to talk to some guy named Jan in East Nashville and get a key code with the unit where I don't know if it's been cleaned lately. I want my Bonvoy points. I want to go to a Marriott, check in, watch ESPN, and I'm done. So am I a customer when I travel on business for Airbnb? Nope. But when I go with my boys who are 7 and 9 and my wife, absolutely, right? Because 2 rooms are pretty expensive. I'd rather get a unit that has 2 bedrooms. So it depends. Is this all competitive? No. Is it competitive on weekends? Probably. Because Nashville's room rate are so high, we are on developers' radars, but we're also on investors' radars. And what I'm showing you here are 2 numbers. I'm showing you the total amount of trades, the total volume or dollar volume of trades for hotels in Nashville, which broke $1 billion in 2022. That's when we sold the Four Seasons, when we sold the Conrad. 2024 was a very strong year as well. The one hotel with the Embassy Suite right next to it traded. And the line is the industry metric uses, it's called price per key. In normal real estate, you would use price per square foot, but I never know how to calculate that. So we just do price per key, and you see that that number is going up. Nashville is very, very attractive to a lot of institutional investors and high net worth individuals. So people try to buy here, but they also want to build here. And this is when you talk to anybody who doesn't know anything about hotel. When I talk to them about Nashville, they're like, oh, wow, you're seeing a lot of growth, right? And the answer is yes, that is a lot of growth. So 10 years ago, we had 39,000 rooms. Today, we have 59,000 rooms. In 10 years, we grew by 20,000 rooms. Because of this, we have this 3-legged stool of what we call room demand: corporate transient travelers, corporate group travelers, and leisure travelers. And they all want to come here, right? We're in this very unique, very lucky situation, which is the envy of a lot of hotel developers in America, because we have these 3 demand drivers from all the headquarters that are here, from the state that is here. Vanderbilt, Belmont, Lipscomb, we just talked about, is here. On the same time, we have Music City Center and all the hotels around that. At the same time, we have Music City, right? And our weekends start on Thursday, and the party lasts all weekend. So those are very strong demand drivers, which makes it very attractive for a lot of people to come. The interesting thing is, this is super random, but if you read the plans for the new Nissan Stadium, the number of seats turns out it's 58,900. So we actually now can get the Super Bowl. Yay! We have a room for everybody who wants to come. So I have no doubt that once that stadium opens, we will get the Super Bowl. Butch Spearton, the former head of the Convention Visitors Corporation, has one goal in life right now after he retired, just to get the Super Bowl, and I have no doubt that that will happen. So 20,000 more units, that is growth of 50%. That is an insane amount of growth for anything, Over 10 years, we've grown our hotel stock by 50%. When I talk outside of Nashville about Nashville, I say our national bird is the crane, right? There are cranes everywhere. And what are they doing? We're building hotels. My sons are, 7 and 9. I can't help myself. We drive down any major artery, and I'm like, what are they building there? And they're like, a hotel. I'm like, yes, I trained you well, because there's a high likelihood that answer is correct. But wait, there is more. So this is just what we have done. We have another, I can't count that high, 21,000 rooms that are people talking about. So we are going to continue to see more activity. Now, this happens in Franklin, in Hendersonville, out 40, near the airport, not just downtown, although also downtown. When I have developers ask me, where should I go? I say, you go to the Grand Hyatt, you get another beer, and you stay at the top of the rooftop, and you look around, you look at all the parking lots. And if there's an empty parking lot, that could be your hotel. There are still a lot of parking lots in downtown Nashville. They're very, very expensive, obviously, but that's what these people are looking at and thinking about. So everybody wants to talk about the East Bank. We don't have a lot of information about that yet. But again, think about Tootsie's 1 mile around, 38 hotels. 38 hotels planned right in that downtown core. That is amazing. Does that mean that rates are going to come down? Maybe. Are they going to come down on a Sunday night? Absolutely. Do you want to stay in Nashville on a Sunday night? I don't know why you would. A, you live here, but B, anybody else who comes to town on Monday night or on Saturday night. So will then room rates come down? We have so far, whenever supply went up, demand went up as well. Not last year, but in general, we have a pretty good track record. So are rates going to come down? Maybe. I think you have to go back to Hendersonville or to Franklin to get a cheaper room. So then when I present to developers, I say, ladies and gentlemen, I have no doubt that you can plan the room, design the room, finance the room, and build the room. But who is gonna clean the room? Access to labor, to me, is the governor on our growth. That's why I was so excited that the mayor said, hey, public transport is important, because our housekeepers and our chefs, the people who check you in and out, they can't afford to live downtown, but they need to get to downtown. So we need affordable housing, downtown, but also elsewhere. But also we need to get them to where the jobs are. So if there's one thing that worries me about all these awesome stats is, are we going to have enough people to do this? And part of the conversation has to be immigration. And I know that's a political topic right now, but it shouldn't be. If you look at the U.S. hotel industry today, 15% of workers are non-U.S. born, 30% of housekeepers are non-U.S. born. I'm not saying they're illegal. I'm saying we need people, because there are not a lot of people who want to do those jobs. They're hard jobs. I've done it, and it is brutal. So we need help, all the help we can get in order to keep Nashville on track, to drive the statistics, to drive the investment, to drive the pipeline, and then to drive the results that make Nashville the awesome city that it is. This was interesting or mildly amusing. If you follow me, I'm on LinkedIn. I am prolific, as they say. I publish all the time. I am a one-trick pony. I only talk about hotels, but I love talking about it. So feel free to join me there. With that said, I appreciate your time. Thanks so much. Happy to take questions if you have. Oh yeah.
What's your favorite hotel and why?
Like ever, anywhere? I have 2 boys, and it can't ask me which one's my favorite child. So, which one's my favorite hotel? They're all our clients, so we love their money. What else could I say? I think the rooftop of the Joseph and the rooftop of the Grand Hyatt are spectacular. I think the St. Regis that's being built right next to the JW is going to be an awesome addition, and that's going to be super fun to watch. I know a lot of the GMs, so it's like the Hermitage, G. Patel, she's the best. I love that woman. She's amazing. So shout out to the Hermitage. I'm not going to give you an answer, I guess is what I'm saying. There are some, I've been very, very fortunate that I have a chance. I get invited to speak, and they often invite me to very swanky places in very, very fancy areas, and I don't have to do anything. I just have to do this for 20 minutes. And so I was like, what kind of job is that? So when I was dating my my now wife, I had a string of presentations, and I was like, hey, would you like to come to this resort? It's all paid for. And then on Monday morning, I just have to excuse myself for 45 minutes, but we can stay the weekend. And she's like, what do you do? What is this thing? And so we did this for a while. And then she's like, oh, now I get it. Whenever you present in a hotel that starts with the Greenbrier, the Broadmoor, then I want to come. Other than that, I don't. So yeah, those hotels, I've been fortunate to stay in some of those. If you start with they're very, very nice.
I know that the Grand Hyatt is on the edge of the Nashville Yards.
Yeah.
Anything else going in the Nashville Yards? The other hotel?
Yeah, so 1,000 years ago, 5 years ago, MGM decided in infinite wisdom that they are a casino company no more, that they want to build regular hotels. So the first MGM non-casino hotel that was ever thought of was right next door to the Grand Hyatt. Has it happened yet? No. Will it ever happen? No. They changed their mind. But so there is one other hotel slated for Nashville Yards, a little bit smaller. The Grand Hyatt is about 600 something rooms. This is going to be more like a jewel box, 200 rooms or so, boutique-y. So they're still figuring it out. Right now, the interest rate environment is such that it's very, very hard to make deals pencil. Plus, now you have the tariffs, so lumber from Canada is more expensive, concrete from Mexico is more expensive. It just makes the whole conversation about development a little bit harder, which is why people step in here and they're buying, just to get into the market.
Okay, good. So you haven't spoken about the Oracle project. Is that still on track? What's going on with that, or do you know?
I mean, is it on
On
track?
the East Bank, on the East Bank.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to give props to the Titans, man. They said, we're going, and they went, right? They had the press release, they had the announcement with the mayor, and they started shoveling dirt the next day. Oracle has been talking about their grand vision for, I don't know, 5 years now or more, and it's just flat. So they're not moving any dirt. Is it happening? Absolutely. And, it sounds like that they're moving their global headquarters here, and at least their global healthcare headquarters. So yes, is that going to happen? Yes. Are there going to be hotels there? There are at least 3 projects on the other side of, I forget the name of the road, the surface street right there, that are happening in anticipation of that headquarter. But I mean, you tell me. I haven't done anything yet. I can't wait for that bridge, by the way, over to Germantown. I think that's going to be spectacular.
Yeah, 2 questions. First, is there any other cities in the US or internationally that have the growth of hotel rooms like Nashville? And then also, do you know some of the data from Austin, Texas, which is a music center also and a kind of comparable size city, like what their room rates look like, things like that?
Yeah, so the answer to the first question is the answer to the second question. So Austin has seen a lot of run-up of rooms as well. Relative to their size, Charleston is hot. Absolutely. New York City continues to see more room growth. So it's one of the fastest growing markets in America, with like 10,000 rooms in construction as we speak, or 9,000 rooms in construction as we speak. So those are sort of, the usual suspects are New York, Phoenix, Dallas, Nashville. Those are the top 4. Austin is a little bit smaller, so they don't rank in that ranking, but they're very, very strong. Do we have data? Yes, I'd love to sell it to you.
Who are some of the higher end hotels you're speaking of that might be coming here, and what kind of rates are they hoping to achieve?
Well, when Taylor Swift was in town, some of the luxury hotels were able to charge for their last room available over $1,000. And that got a lot of people's attention. So that Nashville is ready to have a sustained ADR of, average daily rate, average price per key, of over $500-600. That's get people excited. So there are some companies, I mean, Rosewood is an APAC, a company out of China that does only super high end. Auberge is a company out of the US that only does very, very high end. There is a Pendry. The Pendry Hotel is going to happen on 8th Avenue in that former building that had the antique auction. Do you know what I'm talking about? So they're building the Fort Hayes building. They're building a Pendry right behind it. So that is also, you've never heard of it. I've never heard of it, but it's, it's very, very, very nice and very high end. Those are going to be very small. We call them jewel boxes, basically 120 to 140 rooms, or maybe not even 100, very high end, very bespoke service. So no lines anywhere, everything's hushed. And, but they're going to charge you, $800, $900 or so. Yeah, but there's, as I said, there's an American traveler on that higher end, on the upper 10%, upper 1% income level. They're like, I want what I want when I want it. And it doesn't matter. Like the difference between $800 and $1,200 to them is not a difference. Like they're just like, I want this. And so then people are willing to deliver that.
So there's the number you gave us for hotels in the downtown immediate area was 38 new proposed hotels. Is there a number for the number of, is there a number for the number of hotels that are proposed outside of Nashville? And I think about Williamson County specifically, that's where I live, but I see new hotels going up all the time. So is there a number of new hotels outside of the downtown area?
Yeah, so this is Greater Metro, right? So that's what, 4, 6, 10 plus 11 is 21,000 or so rooms in the Greater Metro area. And I don't think that you're part of that. So you can add to that a couple of thousand rooms. They are limited service. They're not $800. They're $80. So they're limited service, not a lot of ballroom space, a bed and a bath for $1.50, we used to call them. Not a lot of amenities, but really easy access to the highway so you can zip up to downtown. And those are the brands that, like Courtyard, Hilton Garden Inn, Hyatt Place, name another one, Holiday Inn, whatever. Like those are, think of that type of hotel that's being built in the outer areas.
Where does Upperland Hotel rank in the number of rooms compared to the country? Are they like in the top 10, top 5?
So it is the largest non-gaming hotel in America. 2,803 for some reason, 2,803 rooms. Largest non-gaming. Then you go to Vegas, which are the gaming hotels, and those are 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. But if you don't have a casino, that's the one.
Great presentation. First of all, a comment and then a question, a very short comment. I like your point about the need to have people to take those hard jobs. Reason I say that on a personal level, it's one of my side gigs is I do Uber driving, and sometimes I've provided the transportation for some of those good folks to get to work. It's been eye-opening. So that having that transportation network available to people is critical to our success as a city, and I think that's very true. My question is this: I work as a project manager in the utility sector. I actually work for different companies. I work for a solutions provider, so I'm not necessarily, one of the ones that's actually providing the service. But I'm curious, when it comes to some of these new hotels, do they sometimes have like a Comcast, AT&T, whatever, Verizon in some markets, bid to be like the master provider or the master contractor for a new project, or do they usually have the providers come in and just compete? I mean, like they would at MDU, they would, right? But in a situation like that, I figure you have one primary provider that runs the cabling or runs the fiber for the Wi-Fi, what have you. I'm just kind of curious if you can speak to that.
It's pretty specific. I would assume that for the large brands, this is done through the brand, so that Marriott, Hilton, Hyatt have their main contact, and then they're saying, "Hey, dear owner, here's our preferred provider. Use them." That's about as much as I know about that topic.
At some point, there's no land left, right, to build hotels on. I know that in Washington, D.C., for example, they take apartment complexes and condo developments and convert them to hotels because the land's too expensive and they have to have some place to put it. what do you think's going to happen in terms of some redevelopment opportunities in Nashville, and where are those?
Well, thanks to Dolly Parton, we will see our first office hotel development on Second Avenue. Cannot wait to see that. And the other thing I'm super curious about is that if the Graduate Hotel will have to move their Dolly Parton statue from their rooftop bar, if she's going to allow them to continue to do that. Anyways, that's super inside baseball, but I'm very curious about that. So what is more common these days is actually the conversion the other way, right? We don't have a lot of housing, of low-income housing. And some of those hotels at the end of their life cycle, the city steps in or a developer steps in and says, look, a room's a room's a room, right? And the bathroom's right there. That looks and walks and talks like an apartment. Can we just convert that? I think we still have a lot of land in Nashville. You're saying, I mean, you and I will not see the end of land in Nashville, that there are still so many parking lots out there that can be developed. And I think they will continue to be. This is a super attractive market. Macroeconomic gyrations notwithstanding, if you look at markets that are quote unquote winners over the last, 20 years, a lot of them are in the South. And Nashville always makes the top 5 list of any market. I mean, Austin is certainly very hot. We don't talk about Austin. But in general, those markets are very attractive, and Nashville will continue to be very attractive. So I think there's more room to grow just with the land that we have in town.
Have you had an opportunity to spend any time in South Hall and Franklin, and what's your thoughts on that campus?
I hate to admit I have not, but my dear friends have, and they're all raving about the food. And I think it's a passion project from the owner, right? And they're just like, I want what I want when I want it. And so does it make a lot of economic sense? Like, would you or I just say, oh, we want to plant our own money into a 5-star resort an hour out of Nashville, Tennessee, the way that the couple did? Probably not. But I think ROI is not the main driver of this. Providing experiences to them and their family and their friends and us as paying guests was the main driver. So I can't wait.
It's wonderful. I've been out there recently just for a couple different opportunities for people who were residents outside of there, right? And I would encourage everyone to go book a dinner, do something, and get on there. It's beautiful. It's a special little niche. And I was like, wow, I was really impressed. I was also a little bit familiar with the owners with the project management side of it, but I was just encourage all of you to go.
Yeah. I mean, I came here 22 years ago, and in my first 2 years, people were like, there's this Blackberry thing way out. We need like something like Blackberry Farms, but closer. And I've heard that conversation for 20 years. And here we are.
I have a question. Right here, over here, to your right, right here.
Hello.
Thank you for your presentation. You mentioned the St. Regis, and there's obviously a pipeline of 38 projects in the Nashville area. What are some of the downtown and 1 Mile, Tootsie's, Beer?
Yeah.
You look around.
So you listened.
I got all of it.
appreciate that.
I got all of it. What projects are you most excited about of those that are in the pipeline?
So I am a hotel nerd. And so my answer may not match your answer, but they just opened the Hyatt Caption on 12th Avenue. And you're like, the what now? It is a limited service hotel, but it's only the second in the nation. They opened the Hilton, they opened another Hilton right downtown, the Hilton Temple, which was only the second in the nation. So that to me is super exciting, that Nashville is this sort of test kitchen, where the owners, and keep in mind that Hilton, Hyatt, Marriott don't have any money in it. This is owners franchising. And so owners are saying, Nashville is so interesting. Let me put the latest and greatest hotel in this town and see how it works out. So I got tours of both, and the Tempo by Hilton is truly spectacular. I talked to the owner and the guy who developed it, and they spend way too much money, and he knows it, but he's like, but it's so nice. I'm like, yeah, it's way nice. I hope you make your money back. So it's definitely worth exploring that. I mean, on the luxury side, yeah, sure. I mean, those are super exciting. So there is an Edition hotel coming opposite of the Asurion. There's a parking lot. Opposite of Asurion, there's supposedly a Marriott Edition hotel, which is a 5-star property. The St. Regis next to the JW Hotel, there's a tiny little grassland. grass area. They actually have supposedly already dug down. When they built the JW, they did the groundwork for this hotel, knowing that 5, 6, 10 years from now, they would do this. The time has come. They just rip the grass up and start building, going vertical immediately because the groundwork's already done. They're in town all the time. I know the president, they're all the time here looking at this. So this is going to happen. The Pendry, I mentioned that you don't know and I don't know, but it's a very, very exciting brand. They're coming. The St. Regis and the Pendry all have condos with it. You saw that the Four Seasons finally sold their rooftop condo to the guy from Canes. Thank you from Canes. So eat your chicken. So those high-end hotels that want to charge $500, $600, $700 only work from a development perspective if you have residential on it. And if you pay attention to it, the residences are always on top of the hotel. So the hotel is on the bottom, and then you get the residence on the top with the view, but then you have access to the restaurant and the room service and the gym and whatever, the valet parking through the hotel. So I believe the addition is the same, the Pendry is the same, the St. Regis. So we're going to see more high-end condo, very high-end condos coming in those properties. Yeah.
Thank you.
Temple, yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you.
I'll tell you, that was very interesting. You had good 20, 25 minutes of questions. That was really, we appreciate that. And Jan, I'd like to give you a gift from our Rotary Club, but I would ask that if you can take this and sign it, just put a little note and we read this to first graders. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. I want to thank the guests for coming, Roy and Catherine and Buddy, and we had Darren Barnes come in at the end. Where's Darren? Glad to have you. Please come back. Appreciate that. Y'all say hello to the guests, shake their hand, get to know them. And I think that's it. Anything else for the good of Rotary? We are adjourned. Have a great weekend.